There's nothing about your body or your body type or how old you are or what you look like that dictates how a yoga practice is going to impact you. What is good, y'all? My name is Jessamine Stanley. Welcome back to my channel. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and you can practice yoga with me right here on YouTube on my yoga studio, The Underbelly. If you go to my About page, hit the join button and you can become a subscriber there. Today's video is something that I've needed to do for a really long time. I've been teaching yoga for years. I've been teaching yoga on YouTube for quite some time, but I have never done a video that is just about literally how to start your yoga practice. Yoga is an incredible way to increase your flexibility, not just your flexibility of your physical body, but also the flexibility of your mental body. It's a really great way to gain endurance and to get stronger overall in every single part of your body. Yoga is an incredible complement to every type of physical exercise. So if you're really into running, swimming, CrossFit, the list goes on, every kind of exercise is benefited by yoga. I think that yoga just seems really complicated. Is it a religion? Is it a spiritual practice? There's just so many different types of yoga too, but it's really not complicated at all. You actually don't need special props. You don't need any special clothes, none of that. You could just start practicing yoga where you are right now. If maybe you're watching with your phone on your hand, you can start practicing yoga from there. But it is true that it's nice to get a yoga mat and find the right clothes. So I'm gonna mention some things in this video, but I just wanna make it really clear that you don't need to get anything or do anything to practice yoga. I've written 2 books about yoga. The first book that I wrote is called Everybody Yoga: Let Go of Fear, Get on the Mat, Love Your Body. There are lots of pictures in it, and you can literally just look in the book, see a picture of a pose, and just start practicing it. You don't need to go to a class or anything. You can literally just go on Instagram or stay on YouTube and just go over, see a pose and just try it. That's the best way to start your yoga practice. Legit, just see a picture of something and just try it for yourself. What type of yoga is best for beginners? We have a whole playlist of classes that is called beginner friendly yoga. This is for beginners. But I just want to call bullshit on all of that. Even my own classes, you do not need to try specifically a beginner style of yoga. You can go to any yoga class. Let me say that again. Literally any yoga class and just get started. If you like to do things that are hard, go to a hard yoga class. If you like to do things that are slow, go to a slow yoga class. Slow does not mean easy. When I started practicing yoga, I got really into it with a style of hot yoga. It's practiced in a room that is about 104 degrees. And that was the first yoga class that I ever went to. Honestly, straight up, the first time I went to that class, I was like, this is bullshit. And I left, and I was I left not even halfway through the class. So if that happens in your yoga class, maybe you're taking my yoga class here on YouTube and you're you get halfway into it and you're this is bullshit. Jasmine can suck my, I hate yoga. I'm never doing this again. I feel you. That's literally what happened to me. I feel you completely. There's nothing about your body or your body type or how old you are or what you look like that dictates how a yoga practice is going to impact you. So whether you're old or fat or really tall or disabled, I don't know, there's so many different things that make you feel my body is different and therefore I can't do it. There's nothing about you that says that you can't do yoga. In the beginning, everything is hard. Anytime that you do something new in your life, it's going to be hard. Okay, so question number 2 is, how many times a week should a beginner do yoga? The answer is, you should practice yoga as many times a week or as many times a day as you want. You could practice yoga 3 times a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. Have at it, that'll be perfect. If you want to start practicing yoga every single day right off the bat, feel free. In my experience, it's really hard to maintain a habit like that right off the bat. That's just my personal experience. And when I first started practicing yoga, I found it to be challenging enough to try to practice once a week. One of my biggest pieces of advice when you're starting a yoga practice is to just make it as attainable and accessible for yourself as possible. Start from where you are right now. Don't set any standards for yourself that are unrealistic, because you're just gonna be setting yourself up to be disappointed and to be really mad at yourself. And then that will make you resentful of practicing yoga. So maybe what will make sense for you in the beginning is to practice once a month. That might be plenty. If you practice one time this year, that's more. If you never practiced yoga before, that's more than you practiced the year before. That's perfect. And it doesn't matter if you don't practice every day or every week or every month or whatever. Your yoga practice is always continuing because it's a practice. It's not a perfect. It's not something that you are ever going to get perfect. And honestly, every time that you come to your mat, it's like the first time. You're a beginner every single time. So when I first started practicing yoga, I would practice every week. And for me, it was helpful to, just because of the way that my schedule was, it was really helpful for me to be like, Saturdays is the day that I'm gonna practice yoga. For you, it might be Wednesday mornings. It might be Monday night while you're watching TV. Or maybe while your kids are in the bathtub, you're like hitting a yoga pose in the kitchen. Like, just make it really accessible, really attainable, because the more accessible you make it, the more you're gonna wanna keep doing it. And then the more that you keep doing it, you'll build up to that regular practice. Question 3, can I teach myself yoga? Definitely, for sure. In fact, I always think you are the teacher that you've been looking for. Like, I personally had so many yoga teachers, but the most important teacher is the teacher that lives inside of you. There is wisdom that you can get from another teacher, especially if you're just starting your yoga practice. Next question is, what tools do I need to practice yoga? There are so many different things that you can buy, so many different things, and we have lots of yoga props and tools and all kinds of stuff in the Underbelly shop. You can get the link in the description box below. I would highly recommend a yoga mat. Yoga mats are incredible. They change the game. Like, they make it so much more accessible to practice yoga. And honestly, if you're gonna get like a less expensive yoga mat, you should also get a yoga towel or just roll out a towel on top of it. If you are fat or tall or anything different than just like a average size slender person, the mat is gonna be really short. So it's gonna be short and it's gonna be narrow. And it's nice to have a lot of space to move around on the mat. I now swear by the Jade Extra Wide Fusion mat. It is, in my opinion, the best mat in the world. It is incredible. Jade yoga mats are made from this very particular type of rubber, and it is just the best. Ask somebody with a Jade yoga mat, they will tell you why it's amazing. Another mat that I really enjoy are Yoga Hustle's mats. Yoga Hustle has just started making these really wide, really long mats. It's much wider, much longer than my extra wide Fusion mat, and I think that those mats are incredible. And I practice on them, but also more importantly, I've watched my partners practice on them, and they are always like, this is the most amazing mat that has ever existed. You don't technically need anything else. But I think that yoga blocks are also really handy. These are from Yoga Hustle. These are pretty standard size yoga blocks. I do really like Yoga Hustle blocks. They come in lots of different patterns and lots of different colors, which is fun. But mainly you just want it to be really sturdy. These are also really sturdy, really firm. Some yoga blocks, especially if you just buy some random yoga blocks on Amazon, they are not gonna be that sturdy and they're gonna be like flimsy. Again, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal, but it is really helpful to have. You hear how I'm hitting this block? This block is not going anywhere. But if you get a cheapo mat, if you do this, it's gonna be like, blah, 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 blah. So like, at the Underbelly, we sell these Mi Yoga products. My Mi Yoga block has been to hell and back. So there's I've used this block really, really hard. But these blocks are just really handy. It's longer, it's wider. It's just like, I just think it's just better for a lot of different things. 1 yoga block is amazing, 2 blocks is incredible. If you don't have the money to buy yoga blocks, what I did for years, y'all, I need for you to understand, for years, my yoga blocks were 2 cell phone boxes that I taped together, and the other one was a Star Wars VHS box set, VHS tapes that I duct taped. Those were my yoga blocks for years. As long as your mind is creative and expansive, you can make anything into a yoga block. Yoga strap. Yoga straps are really handy if you want to extend the length of your arm. You hold your foot up like that in any posture. It's good. You can use them in so many different ways, and you don't have to buy a yoga strap. Your belt is a yoga strap in disguise. Your shirt is a yoga strap. Your dog's leash. Another good yoga prop to have is a blanket. A blanket is really good for cushioning your knees. Just a really good thing to have handy. And if you don't have like a specific yoga blanket, you can just use your comforter off your bed. That's perfect. In the Underbelly shop, we have these jelly pads that are like a blanket, but very targeted. So you can just like throw it underneath your knee when you're on the ground. Very handy, very cozy. They're amazing. You can get 1, 2, I think it's helpful to have 2 on hand. I stay sitting on my bolster. This is the yoga bolster. They come in lots of different shapes and sizes. There is definitely a stigma in the yoga world that using props makes your practice less valid somehow. It's the most fucking white man thing that I've ever heard, just to be clear. But yoga props deepen your practice. They make postures more accessible, and even if you're able to practice the posture without a prop, if you use a prop, more often than not, it's gonna make the posture even deeper than it was when you were not using the prop. Another really popular prop is a chair. Chairs are really great ways to go deeper into postures. Those are some of the tools that you will encounter when you're looking for yoga stuff. Something that's helpful just as a tool, comfortable clothes. There's so many different clothes that you can wear. We have lots of really cool, fun yoga clothes in the Underbelly shop. You can get the link in the description box. My favorite way to practice yoga is in my underwear. You can also practice yoga naked. You really don't need clothes. It's not that big of a deal. But I think it is helpful to wear something that you can move in easily and that makes you feel empowered and comfortable. Journals are really helpful to have with the yoga practice because lots of thoughts are gonna come up while you're practicing. I think that having a physical journal is better than having your phone because your phone is just really distracting. Like it's doing all kinds of things other than being your writing device. So it's nice to just have a journal and then you can look back at things that you've written and it's a cool way to keep track. Thank you so much for watching this video. Oh my God, I'm so honored. If you have any questions about yoga or honestly any questions about literally anything, drop them in the comment section and they might show up in a future video. Like and subscribe. If you're ready to start your yoga practice, you can start with this playlist of beginner yoga flows, or if you're ready to dive deeper, join my Seeds membership here on YouTube for $9.99. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to practice yoga with you on the Underbelly. I love you. Have a great day. I'll see you later.